Colorado's a beautiful place. It's very welcoming. If you feel like you're in a space where like you are not seen and you're not heard, and if you're fearful, Colorado's not gonna be that. It's gonna be a place where you can always feel like you're always at peace and um, feel safe at.
Hi, everybody. This is Kerristen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Relocate Podcast. So, if you're listening and you're not following, what is up? YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you just listening, you're not following, go on and support your girl. Go ahead and hit that follow, like, subscribe button, and let's get it. Because every Wednesday, there's a new episode, and I don't want you to miss out. With that being said, today we have a gentleman, pronouns that do, coming from the great state of Detroit. Nope, that's not a state. That is a whole city. Coming from the coming, coming hailing from Detroit, Michigan, and currently living in Denver. Um, why I was about to say Denver, Michigan. My whole week has been off of this election. I'm trying to get together, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, my guy, he is from Detroit, Michigan. He lives in Denver, Colorado. He's here to give us the scoop on how he went from point A to point B. He also lived in Austin and Houston, Texas. Right now, he is a software engineer. So, y'all know in some episodes I've been harping on tech. Tech is just the way to go and is the future. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, we have Amir. How are you today?
Woo, 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 woo. I'm doing good, doing good. Despite the results of this past week elections and the anxiety and everything that's been happening this past week. I'm doing good to an extent. Currently right now it is a snowstorm happening outside. Uh, and it's supposed to be lasting until tomorrow afternoon. So we out here in our apartment, cozy in a hoodie because it's cold outside.
November 8th. I cannot imagine seeing snow. Oh my gosh.
See, it's kind of interesting though, because like even living back in Michigan, like I always used to think vividly, like every time it would be like Halloween, right? It was either going to do one or two things. It was going to be real cold or it was going to be rainy, right? And so shortly right after that, you might get snow towards like the end of November. And so far, with me being here, like in Denver, it's like, oh, we start getting the snow. Technically, in Denver, we got snow like earlier this week, but like snow happens in Colorado like in October, but like in like the higher like the mountains and stuff of that nature because of elevation and stuff. So snow happens early here.
We um um prior to this election, because I'm in the South, I like my
Mm.
heat. I like my heat. I would
Hmm.
say that I would prefer sunny with a chance of racism over being in like a state where like the morals and values align with what I like, but I gotta sit in frigid cold weather and shovel snow for like 8 9 months out of the year. That I'm not built for that. But I'm think
Hmm.
that I'm ready to buy some coats from Burlington Coat Factory, make my way over to Denver. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. That's why I got you
Hey,
here today.
listen. Hey, listen. It's great out. It's great over here. Like I said. The morals here are pretty much aligned. And everybody. Uh, not trying to get all political on here, but like everybody has the same mindset here. Like freedom of choice, pretty much. I feel like everybody that lives in Denver or lives in Colorado, they just want to do one thing: enjoy the mountains, experience in extracurricular activities, whatever they choose to, whatever's legal, and just enjoy life. Everybody be real chill here. Though I will say, yeah, the code when you're not used to it, it's like, yeah, it can be bothersome. But like one interesting fact I found out about Colorado as a whole, um, from like some of the locals here, is that technically I think on average they get 300 days of sunshine. So even when it does snow, like it does kind of like melt like within a day or two. And looking at the weather for like next week, it's like I said, all this week has been like 40s, 30s, all that stuff. Next week is completely sunny.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's not
So,
bad.
you know.
Yeah,
So I
take your
mean,
little
you
elevation.
can take to all right. So listen, just take your, you take it. Some days you can be feeling like you're in an igloo, and some days you can be like, all right, cool. The sunshine is out. Let's go ahead and be outside with a coat on. You know.
So, wait, because it snows in Detroit too, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
when it did it not melt that quickly? Like it, like you said it does in Denver? Like what's happening?
No,
What's going on?
no,
Okay.
no. Like in Detroit, around like between like November to maybe about March, April, maybe even sometimes May. Most of the time, you're gonna see just gray skies, pretty much. It's just like gray skies for like all of winter. Like some days you get some sunshine and everything like that, but yeah, it's gonna be gray for most of it.
Oof. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I guess
So gotta appreciate the small victories. It's like, yeah, it's cold, it's higher elevation here, and snow has already been starting, but on Sunday it's sunny, and then for the rest of the week it's sunny. So can't even be mad at it.
all right. And we're gonna talk about Colorado here pretty soon, but I want to get back to talking about Michigan a bit, because what else is there? Like as far as um, your upbringing and how
Mhm.
that that was for you living in Detroit. Like what was that like, other than like the
It
snow
was
and whatnot?
right outside the snow.
Yeah.
Upbringing wise, it was I felt like my childhood was pretty cool for the most part. I grew up was born on like the west side of Detroit, and then from like elementary school between I think let's say like kindergarten to maybe like fifth or sixth grade or seventh grade. Lived on the east side of Detroit for a bit, and then after that, going into like eighth grade, going to like high school, everything like that, moved back onto the west side and stuff. So those I'd say you get two different experiences because like you talk about any like Detroit native, they'll be like, oh, like east side the best side, west side the best side. It's always like the debate about which side is the best, but west side. Um, but upbringing wise, it was definitely like I said, it definitely was uh honestly mine was pretty normal for the most part. Both, my mom and dad, was present, everything like that. So um definitely just feel like, my mom was pretty much I feel like the one that was like taking me to school and everything like that. And like she talked about all the time how like, she used to take like three buses to get me to school, for her to get to work, come back and all that stuff. Yeah, my mom was a trooper, so it still is.
Yeah.
So um but yeah, but I love, I love my upbringing. Thinking about all of the people that I've, met from being a kid, going through high school, even, through adulthood, before I, eventually left. Detroit is always home, so no matter where I'm at, whether it be Houston, Austin, Cali, Denver, it's always Detroit at heart. So, I've got my, Detroit hat, the old English D on it, so definitely people be like, where you from? Detroit, you know, say it proudly.
Right. I know you better represent. And the Lions doing well this year. Come on with it.
Hey, right, right. Listen, Lions doing good. The Tigers made some noise in the playoffs. Red Wings is pretty consistent. Pistons, we had better years, So, but hey, who knows, right? Who knows? Pistons might do something. Prayfully,
Pray on that. Okay.
pray on it.
Pray on it. Okay. So, ladies, y'all know y'all heard that. My man grew up in a two-parent household. Love to see it. Um, might have to put you in the bid for. I don't know. I don't know your life like that anyway. So just in case, I don't know. Yeah.
You're like, oh, he got a good head on his shoulders. Oh, he got two parents. Hmm. Yeah,
Well, you never
but
know.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was gonna say, just to piggyback on like, I think like the the hardest thing about like I guess like my upbringing, if anything, was just I don't know. I feel like as you grow up and everything like that, and you grow up still in the city of Detroit, like despite like having a two-parent household, it's like Detroit itself, at the time was still like you know it got its bad parts, right? So like you see people, you see the police outside constantly, hearing the sirens and things of that nature. I remember it was randomly like. I was living on the east side of Detroit at this time. It was me and my little brother, and we had like a neighbor that was just we was always cool with, and we all just like outside and everything like that, chilling, like unprovoked chilling. I think I'm like 9 or 10, my little brother like 4 or something like that. So we were just chilling or whatever, and it's gotta be somebody that's probably in high school, maybe like and definitely in his teens, no more than maybe like 16 or 17. He sees us, he's like riding his bike, and I kid you not, unprovoked, he just like waves his gun at us. And it's like we like some 9 and 10 year olds, like what are you like waving your gun at us for? Like say hi, you know? So don't get me wrong, like it definitely has like you know, its rough parts and rough moments, and I feel like that's of course natural at any city, right? But Detroit itself as you know, especially like today, like everything that's like how it's changed so much. It's still a beautiful city. There's like so much history and everything like that. From like Motown about being the Motor City, and everything like that. Yeah, it's definitely um, you know, it makes me still proud to be from there, despite some of the ignorance that can happen in the city.
I am so sorry you had that experience.
Hey, it's cool. Listen, I feel like it molded me to become a better person because, at the end of the day, why would I be doing that? So it's just like, you know, you got people that's going to, be on the streets and everything like that and try to, intimidate and all that stuff. But you got people that got like, good head on your shoulder, good head on their shoulders and everything like that. But I think there's knowledge in being street smart. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know. Because you can't just think that everything that happens in like the household is like how the real world is. And my parents never like, sugarcoat anything like that. So they definitely like, kept it real with me about, don't be a part of like, hanging out with certain crowds, people and things of that nature. Um, Even up to the point, to where it's like, yeah, like if you feel or see something that's about to happen, get yourself out that situation before it becomes a situation. And yeah, like I think it's interesting now, me being gone for almost about 4 or 5 years at this point, from the city. And I look at it now, things of that nature, and it's like I said, it's grown so much. But even when I think about like the young kids that's here now and things that they're doing now, it's like, bro, I didn't even think that was happening like around my age. It seems a little more like chaotic at times. And it's kind of like, what's happening in these households, things of that nature. Like, why these kids out in these streets, doing certain things, you know what I'm saying? So, and maybe that's just like, with the times and everything, but at the end of the day, it's like I think it's still the all of that encompasses like the upbringing of me, right? So it's like, I can be in a space of, and I don't want to say you should call it intellectuals, but like be in a space where it's just like, John and Jane, having a, conversation, and I'm able to keep up with that conversation of the nature, and, give my input and stuff. But at the same time, if I'm out in the, out in the world, out in the streets, I also, very careful to like, you know, of my surroundings and stuff. So definitely is a good mixture of the street knowledge and you know,
The book.
the two-parent household, if you want to say. Yeah, the book
Yeah.
knowledge and book smarts and stuff.
All
Yeah.
that. The yes. Yes. Yes, the knowledge from your parents, the knowledge from the streets, the knowledge that you obtained from education, from school, molded you to where you are today.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. What do you tell people who like when they hear of Detroit, they think about kind of like how it was when Detroit went through kind of like that rough patch of industries moving out, moving into like foreign
Hmm.
places. People may bring up like violence. They may bring up, oh, that's just an old town. There's nothing there. Nothing's good
Yeah.
coming out of it. Like, what do you say to people who may bring that up?
Well, one, I always say, come check it out for yourself, right? Um, I think the media definitely, and not to say none of it was like, uh, not true or anything like that, but I feel like also that sometimes like the media kind of like over exaggerate a lot of things if you can put an emphasis on that, on like, oh, Detroit was, such a bad city and things of that nature, right? But honestly, Detroit is is a very beautiful city. And I think with all of like the opportunities that's happened in recent years, like for instance, like this past year, we had the NFL draft, right? And the NFL says that Detroit had literally the biggest turnout, um, out of all of the NFL drafts in history. The Detroit had the biggest crowd attendees, right? And you have that, and you see kind of like just I was growing and just kind of like people are prospering and everything like that. Like I said, sports teams are prospering, the people's prospering, business are coming, um, infrastructure is getting better. It's a beautiful city to visit. It's a beautiful city to come and learn the history about, Yeah, we definitely had like, rough years, about 15, 20 years ago. We definitely had the rough years. Um, and like I said, to me, I always say like I feel like every city, every state kind of got like, they got they either bad areas or they have like those rough stretches, right? Um, and I think what I love about, my city is just that we never let those rough stretches like define who we are. right? It's like, so it's like, you feel like, oh, like, Detroit is a bad city. It's like, no, it's not. Come visit. I've had friends that never been to Detroit before come visit. And they be like, I want to come back to Detroit. Like I want to come back, during the summertime, during the winter. Okay, maybe not the winter time, but during the summertime. And
you, you got me. I was waiting you till you said that.
Right? But yeah, they definitely said they always want to come back to Detroit. There's so much to do. Um, Not even just in Detroit, but of course throughout Michigan. And food's great. People, like, the actual people are actually genuinely nice. And so yeah, it's like, come visit. Like, I think you can listen to the perception of people that's never been to Detroit talk bad about Detroit and just be, oh, I don't want to go there because blah blah blah. Or you can take it from the locals that's been through the city, through the ups and downs, and can show you what's the beautiful point, beautiful aspects about Detroit. Like, for instance, I mean, like, we're Motown, right? So many great artists and great producers have come to the city of Detroit to make beautiful music that you hear, still to today, right? And then of course, like, you know, the Motor City. The cars that we drive each and every day. We got the big three, Ford, GM, Chrysler, they're all there. So it's just like it's so much history about how Detroit helped define our country in general. So for it to kind of sometimes get like a bad rap because of bad stretches, just or it's a lot of emphasis on like, oh, like it's a very violent city. And I'm like, in my opinion, no. I feel like Detroit maybe at one point in time, and back maybe like before I was born, that might have been a possibility. But now I think there's cities that have way more issues than what we do. And don't, like I said, don't get me wrong, Detroit still got its bad parts, right? It's still got its rough patches. But it's not anything to where like it should deter you from ever like coming to it because there's so much richness into it. And then also too, like, where else you gonna go to Canada in 5 minutes at? You'd be like, oh, I wanna go to Canada. Let's go across this bridge, and we in Canada too. So now you got now you're in a whole different country just coming from Detroit. So it's like just gotta love it. Just gotta love it.
I do wish the other part of the US felt that way. I can just drive a few hours and I'm in Mexico. Like I wish it
Right?
was that easy and just that easy. Like I
Right?
wish. Yeah, his
Yeah.
passport. Let me through. I just want to go to
Yeah.
Cancun or Monterey.
Hmm.
Cancun's kind of far.
Not.
Monterey.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you better speak on your city. I really enjoyed myself when I went. I had a good time. And I had
Oh yeah.
fish and grits. I was shocked.
I mean, we're surrounded by the Great Lakes, so you definitely still will get some like, you know, great seafood and stuff being out there. I think it's interesting because like, yeah, like if you're like in the South, I feel like, Texas slash Houston area, Louisiana, you're gonna, you got the crawfish. I ain't gonna say you don't get that in Detroit per se, but you're gonna definitely get some really good like seafood, so definitely the food is always amazing in Detroit, um, especially compared to Denver, which we'll talk about later.
Oh yeah. Ah. All right. So what exactly was the point? Like what was the moment when you realized that your hometown wasn't where you wanted to take your life a step further? Like what what happened there?
So I think. It was right around the time around 2016, 2017. I think is when I was like, you know what, I think I wanna venture out the state. You know, it was more of like a thought. Um, I think one big thing that was helping me kind of influence like life outside of just of Michigan was at the time I was dating someone and she was long distance. Actually lived in South Carolina. So it was great to like, you know, every time I know, right?
Yo, go ahead and tell your story. I ain't gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
But it was cool because every time I would come like to South Carolina, go to come to Columbia and everything like that, I'm like, oh, it's really nice out here. Like, you know, it's like, okay, like, you know, different restaurants. Like, it was the first time I ever had Bojangles, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, this is fire. This is good. And then, like, the people that I'm meeting is like, this is dope. And then, of course, you know, sometimes go to like North Carolina was cool. Then also, like, I also have family in Atlanta. My mom, I mean, not my mom, my grandma and my uncle. So I would go to visit them a couple of times, and it's like once I started exploring or had reasons to explore outside of Michigan, for real, it made me realize, okay, cool, like why I love Michigan, I love Detroit. I kind of want to see what the rest of like the country and the world is like. And so it was just on my heart of like, yeah, I want to leave Michigan. Like, I don't think I can see myself staying in Michigan for the foreseeable future, things of that nature. And for some reason, I don't know what it was, but Houston was hot on my head. Like it was just like, you should move to Houston. And I've never been to the Texas before. Never been to Houston. So I don't know what it was about Houston. Maybe it was because everybody was moving to Atlanta. So I wanted to do something different to like move to Houston around this time. But I had it like on my these two, sorry. I had it on my heart for like a few years. And then 2019 came and I was just like, okay, I think I'm gonna do it. You know, I think I'm going to go ahead and make that leap of faith. And the cool thing about, of course, with my job at the time is that it's fully remote. So like I had no, you know, I could easily just like move there and not have to worry about a job per se. It was like, you know, just move it with me and everything. So that was the luxury I had to have that benefit to be like, yeah, I could just pop up and I can just leave if I wanted to. Um, and the thing it was still a little bit difficult. It was like, you know, I've had like this, what I could say, call like a safety net, right? A safety net, like having my family here, like my mom, my dad, my brother, my brothers, you know, just if something was to go wrong, it's like, cool, I could just go back home, right? And I think my mom, I think she was the kind of like the one that kind of encouraged me to do it. You know, I think she probably, I feel like she pushed me to leave more than I did. And she was just like, yeah, like, you know, she was like, AJ, that's what my family calls me, AJ. She was like, yeah, like, you know, you're young, right? You go live life, have freedom, like, you don't have any kids or have any obligations. So get a chance to explore something that, you know, that she didn't get a chance to do things in nature. And she also said too, if you come to find out that you don't like it, you always come back home. You know, like home is always there. So I think with me having like that feeling of like, all right, cool, like I can do this it's gonna be nervous, right? It's gonna be different, but like I'm so ready to see what's out, you know, see a different part of the, you know, the country and that nature that I was just so excited to do it. And so 2019 made that leap of faith and yeah, moved myself to Texas for a few years.
Did you have fun? While you was in Texas?
Did I
Because
have fun in Texas?
yeah. Because who moves to
I would
Houston and not have fun?
say right, right. Did I have fun in Texas? Yes. I think the two biggest things between like living in Houston and then living in Austin, I feel like Houston is definitely like one is big, like it's huge, right? So I feel like with it being so huge that it's you're not going to like touch everything, right? Like you're not going to be able to figure out all the spots and everything like that. But Houston's always a good time, like always a good time. But I think after my year living in Houston, moving to Austin for like the next couple years, I think I found it also be more like my speed, just because it kind of felt like the people, the climate, and everything like that is almost was similar to what you would get in like the Bay Area of Cali without the Bay Area price of California. Because it's still there's like all of the tech companies are there, like Apple, like all the tech companies were there. The demographics, like I said, people was, very mixed and everything like that. Of course, like the mantra for like Austin is like, keep Austin weird. Um, and I know that sounds very interesting, but when you lived in Austin for a couple years, you're like, it makes a whole bunch of sense, right? Because like everybody is just honestly, everybody's just cool. It's like it's more like it's a big college city, if you want to say. Of course, it's like the capital, but I think it was cool because I felt like in Austin, I could see myself settling down with like a family in Austin, whereas Houston seems like yeah, every weekend you could be out and about, but I ain't trying to be out and about every day type of thing. So it was cool because I could be in Austin, and then if I needed, a weekend, I want to go turn up, go to Houston, you know? So definitely had my fun. I would love to come back to Austin, actually. I could definitely see myself coming back to Austin or, Texas in general. Even despite some of you know, the laws and stuff of that nature. I could definitely see myself coming back to Austin, Texas, because it was definitely I loved it there. Plus, it's warm pretty much all the time, so that was a plus too.
Okay. Okay. Like okay, this is good. I'm thinking too about your career trajectory. Um,
Hmm.
like when to you moved to Houston first and then Austin, right? Were you kind of in like that tech space when you were living in Houston, or like did it happen when you moved to Austin? How was that for you? Or did you already like have experience when you were in Detroit and you just brought your talents to Texas? Like,
Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely a great question. So interesting enough, my interest, like, space of being in tech, definitely started back in Detroit, um, with Apple and being so I have been with Apple all this time, and uh, the beginning of my tech career and everything like that was dealing with like tech support. So of course, he called, be like, hey, my phone doing this, my iPad, my Mac, I was the person that she was talking to over the phone. And so, I was doing that for like the first couple years in Detroit and like, going through like the ranks of there, right? It's funny because like once I moved to Texas, I think is when like things started to just like shoot up in terms of like, progress. So when I was in Texas, there was like this opportunity that I actually had to go out to California for 6 months, um, to work with our engineer teams out there. And it's kind of like a almost you could think like it's an internal internship within Apple. Um, and so I had an opportunity to go out to California for 6 months and do something completely outside of my normal job. And I was able to start doing like some of the software engineering that, learn some of the skills that apply to, where I'm at today. And it was kind of like with what was good about it, it was kind of like um, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There was no pressure essentially, right? Like they knew that you was going there to learn and stuff of that nature, but also at the same time you are, being very impactful to the company. as we, we're, creating and, bringing out new technology, new software, things of that nature. And um, so it was in California for 6 months, actually at the very beginning of the pandemic. So I went to California from like January 2020 up until June 2020. And that was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm seeing what a different space is like, you know, of being around engineers and everything like that. And it just had me more motivated. So when I came back to Texas, moved to Austin, we do have um, a campus in Austin for Apple. But the issue, of course, is like, still the pandemic, everything's shut down, so nobody's, on campus. So I'm working from home and everything like that. But my goal was to try to get there. So I was doing all of these different opportunities to, be able to connect with engineers and things of that nature. And a couple years later, found myself having one more chance to kind of like go and venture out to doing like our internal internship, which brought me out to Denver. And the team really liked me, and they said they want to keep me. So, and that's how I've been here ever since. But definitely like that.
Hey,
Thank you, I appreciate it. Definitely
hey.
appreciate it.
Wait, hold
Yes,
on. I
but
got something
definitely
for
it
you.
was.
I got I got
Uh-uh.
something for you. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Where's my sound? Where is my sound? Where is the clapping and the cheering? Dang, I thought it's not, I can't hear it on my end. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Yes, we love to see it. Look, every
I
time now,
appreciate that.
every time I see a
Yeah.
brother out here making it, especially during these
Yes,
times,
yes.
I'm giving you
Oh
your
yeah, most
flowers.
definitely.
Yeah, let's go.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But yeah, I definitely would say like that leap of faith to move into Texas, not being sure of like what was to expect at the time, didn't realize was going to be like the really was going to kickstart me into like get into the place that where I'm at today. So I definitely always appreciate that I made that move, even if it was like I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get there. We gonna figure it out. And it worked out it worked out itself in the long run, So appreciate it.
Yeah. Um, did you have an opportunity to visit Denver like ever before you relocated?
It's funny that it's funny the places that I've been visiting, like I moved to, I never visited before moving to them. Like that's the craziest thing. It's like, you know what? Move to Denver. Sure, why not? Why not? You know? Um, yeah, it's but I think like what's cool about it though is that like I'm so like open-minded to like experiencing like just you know, something different that it doesn't like scare me to move here, right? Like I know like Denver got sports teams, right? Got mountains. That's all I kind of like I knew before coming here and uh living here, going on almost 2 years at this point. Um it's such a beautiful space, beautiful scenery. And I think where I'm at right now in like life is like perfect, just to like, trying to settle down and everything like that. But there's so much like peace here. Um, like every time you look west, there's mountains. And I think just seeing the mountains on like a video or something like that is one thing, but like to just physically be able to just like drive to the mountains and just explore like the nature aspects of like what Colorado has to offer. One, it makes you just, it makes you feel more like I feel like connected, with Earth and yourself and everything like that. But it also makes you realize like how small we are as like, human beings compared to like the rest of Earth, right? Like there's this mountain out here that's very easy to get to. It's called Lookout Mountain. And when you go onto Lookout Mountain, it's pretty much a good way to see like the over like the distance of like Denver itself. And when you get to the top, you're like, man, like you can't see a single soul down on the ground unless you got binoculars or you got like a, you know, 25, hundreds zoom on a camera or something like that. Like you gotta really zoom in to see like people, like moving or seeing cars move. But it's like it's also very therapeutic because you're just like, man, like you're like just surrounded by like just like this greenery and these trees and this mountain and like the wilderness around you that you're like, man, like you start to appreciate more about the space that you're in and like realize that sometimes like all of like your worries and like your stresses and things of that nature is while it's it can bother you in that moment is also a good way for you to like escape it. And so yeah, I've definitely have enjoyed the the time being here in Denver so far. Just what it has to offer.
You kind of got a little spiritual there. Just kind of like you took me to a place of like reflection and just
Hmm.
looking within and yeah, like
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like what nature does to you a bit.
Yeah. It definitely does. And it's funny because like being from the city that, being from Detroit and, moving to Houston, even the time I was in California and living in Austin, like all of those are still very, big, heavy populated like cities, right? Um, Maybe Austin a little bit more has a little bit more, some greenery, different area, and even like California maybe, but like I never got a chance to experience it. But like here in Denver, it's prominent. And it's funny because like I'll pick some friends up from like going like to the airport, or I've had friends come and visit, and I'm telling like, oh yeah, like this is welcome to Denver and everything like that. And when you looking from like the distance, it's like you see like this, you have the city of Denver, like downtown Denver, and you see how small it is compared to the surrounding areas of the mountains. You be like, "Well, who decided to be like, uh, you know, who decided to just say, hey, let's go ahead and settle down in a mountain area, right? Like way, way back when they was like, you know what, I don't want to travel to California, all that stuff. Let's settle here in Denver, Colorado. Well, let's settle here in Denver. Let's make a city in some mountains, you know? And yeah, like I said, it makes you just appreciate just life a little bit more, right? Like I feel like every place has like, peaceful spots. Like you might have like a peaceful like, park you like to go to, or maybe you gonna go to like the water through the nature. Unfortunately with Denver, like in Colorado, there's not too many like water spots here. So like you appreciate more of like the mountains and the greenery, and you're just like, yeah, like this is so you're just enthralled in just like what it just like helps bring like just brings like the pieces that it brings inside of you. Like I feel like I've had like really, really bad days sometimes. I'm like whether it be like stressful work or just stressful about life, whatever the case may be. And then because I work out in Boulder, and Boulder's like really like literally like right next to like the mountains. And you just take a moment just to sit down, you're like, man, like you just take a walk, sunny day, take pictures. You're just like, this is a very beautiful space. And it like kind of just like literally wipes all of your worries away. And you're like, all right, cool. I think I've got my refresher. You just feel really good and get back to like, grinding out the day, things of that nature. So um yeah, not to like blabber too much about it, but like it's definitely a very beautiful place to like, if you don't live here, just to want to get away from like the chaos and the craziness that the world you know can bring or even experiencing right now. If you have that chance just to like come here and just be like want to get away, it's a very beautiful like getaway destination.
I concur. I yeah, I really until recently, maybe like 2 years or maybe 3 years ago, like I felt like it was a ritual. I've been to Denver every year from
Mm,
2015 until maybe 21 or 22. When did I go for my birthday? Maybe 22 or something like that. But every time I
hmm
go, I can't tell you a bad time I've ever had there. I've never had a bad time in Denver. People are really nice. Once you get into hiking in the mountains, it's just something about it that
hmm
like is different. I went to Garden of the Gods and there were so many
mm,
people at that park. But then I went with a friend and shout out to Anya, hey girl, hey. We just hiked and we found this spot and nobody was around and I feel like I don't even know how we got up that high. I don't even feel like we hiked that high, but it felt like we were high. And then we were just overlooking mountains and trees, and there was just
hmm
nobody and just nature. And it was freeing, like a moment where you can just sit and reflect and not be bothered. And you don't really want to use your phone. You just want to chill. And
Yeah.
that's different because we use our phones a lot. We use technology a lot. But that's one place where in Denver where even though it's growing and becoming a tech hub, I don't
hmm
feel compelled to use my tech there.
And I think that's especially being in tech and like engineering spaces, like it's beautiful to have that way to like that sense of like, you know what, let me just turn off my phone, put on do not disturb, whatever it is, and let me just go escape into, into the world, right? And you're not escaping into like a world into like a city. Like you're escaping to the world into like into nature. Um, I know like, my friends, I feel like before at some point in time there's like a transition period. I feel like it used to be on my phone all the time, texting on Instagram, whatever, all the time. Now, especially more as of late, I ain't gonna tell you how many text messages I got built up on my phone right now, but like the text messages that like they'll get to I get to the like I'll be like ready just to like I don't want to say throw my phone away per se, but because I deal with technology so much, it's like the last thing I want to do is be using technology when I'm trying to like rest and decompress and everything like that. Like I deal with it with work. So the fact that like you said, like you can be in a place where you're like, yeah, I don't want to use my phone. I just want to like experience the moment,
Yeah.
see what the world just like shows me and just gives to me, it is very, very therapeutic, you know, and also part of the fact that once you go up higher, you also lose service anyway, so you can't use the phone to begin with. That also helps out too.
That helps. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's yeah, like I can speak nothing bad about Denver when it comes to just like the place itself. Like it's like you said, beautiful people, everybody's friendly. And like I said, I think it's definitely like when you're in a space or in a point in your life where you're just like, yeah, I just want to relax. I want to not even to say get off the grid, but I just want to be in a place where it's just like I could just really focus on myself. Denver is definitely a place that's like that will allow you to do that.
I see or saw that you got baptized recently.
Hmm.
Did that,
Yes, I
like
did.
being in Denver, play a role in kind of like what you saying about reflecting and just being in a place where you can access nature, you can just focus, it's therapeutic for you, you just want to be chill,
Hmm.
relax. Walk us through what was going through your mind when you decided to get baptized.
Yeah, I think it was definitely like it was a kind of a long time coming. Um, I feel like my me getting to Denver, you know, you know, is nothing, but the Lord Himself, to be honest with you. Not sure how deep you want to get, but like I don't care. Um, but I know like back in like 2020, no, sorry, 2022. I think I was like just at like a very low point. Um, you know, my time in Austin was not that it wasn't great in nature, but like it was just like a lot of things had just happened. Um, like me and my ex had just broken up around that time, and uh, just things weren't going right. I felt like I wasn't progressing, in like career and things of that nature. And I felt like it was always something telling me to like different signs. It was actually telling me to move back to Detroit for a bit. And I was like denying them. I'm like, nah, because I feel like if I move back to Detroit, I'm gonna feel like a failure, all this stuff, yada yada. But it was just like different signs. My friends, my family was like, come back to Detroit. Cool, all right. And so when I said I felt I was feeling stagnant, like the 2021, 2022 in Austin, when I went when I came back to Detroit, after finally like listening, came back to Detroit, it was kind of like all of the opportunities I had been wanting or wishing were starting to pop up, starting to appear to that nature. So I was getting like job interviews and things of that nature. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I wasn't getting this before. So I'm great. It wasn't really going nowhere, get to a second, third interview, flop, and all this stuff. But I still continue on with the grind. I said to myself, I'm not gonna be in Detroit no more than a year. This is like 2022. I'm not gonna be more than a year. And then in October of that year is when I found out about the job opportunity that was gonna bring me to Denver. And it was so cool because I was just like, at first when they said I was going to, they was technically said I was going to Boulder, and I was like, they said Boulder. I was like, I mean California, because like where's Boulder? They was like, no, it's in Colorado. I'm like, we got offices in Colorado. Like I didn't know that we had offices in Colorado. So get the opportunity in October, move out here in the beginning of February and everything like that. And I think just how everything played out, right? Like I was able to achieve like the dream job, being in the space I want to be, with the company I want to be. But it was never like if I always told myself like, yeah, I was gonna be in California. Like new up and down to be in California. That's where I want to go with things of that nature. But it's like I got everything I want, but just in an unexpected place, right? And I feel like that was the Lord's way of pretty much having me kind of like if I entrust in Him, like He's going to make what's meant to happen, you know, uh, put it into fruition, and He's going to make it happen for you. But you gotta expect, it's like I said, it's how He wants it for you, right? So it might be like the same, like that, like I said, like a career job and everything like that, but it might not be in the space that you thought you was going to be in, right? And so, with that being said, once I moved here, come to find out, I actually have a little bit of a community from Detroit that's out here, actually.
Okay.
One of my frat brothers, one of my sayings actually, that went to MSU. He had lived out here for a few years, him and his wife. And so when I found out he was here, we definitely like, we linked up and everything like that. And he was telling me about his church. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, definitely like, at the time I was kind of like, just kind of still figuring out my, my journey with Noah God and everything like that. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll come and check it out. And I remember like that first time I was at the church. And like I'm like, okay, the I love the community here. I love how diverse it is. I love like the pastor is, he's more on the younger side. So it's like, you know, when he's speaking, it's like I could really relate to it because it's not anything, it's not like elder jargon, I would want to say. It's like, okay, cool. Like I can relate to what you're saying, yes. But I think what really took me like by surprise is that like once my frat brother had introduced me to the pastor was like, yeah, like, he wanted to get a chance to get to know me and everything like that. So he's like, yeah, like, let's do like an hour lunch or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool, cool. Now, I want to put this in perspective, right? So we're in Denver and I work in Boulder. So from like the center of Denver to Boulder is about a 45-minute drive, give or take, right? And I was working in Boulder this day. Pastor literally came and drove 30 to 45 minutes to Boulder to have lunch with me to get to know my story and everything like that. And I was like, wow, I feel like that's the first time like I ever felt like really like okay, like someone wants to know who I am, like a pastor wants to know who I am because they want to just figure out my story, right? Like I've been in different churches and things of that nature, and I never felt like sometimes you can feel like you're just like a number at a church sometimes, or you're just like a member, but this felt more like no, like I see you, you know. And so that made me more interested in like, okay, I want to be a part of this community, I want to be a part of this church and everything. And so this was probably like last year. And so fast forward to like January of this past January, and me and him had like we had lunch again and everything like that. And I talked to him about like the idea of getting baptized again, getting baptized. Because I remember getting baptized as a little kid, but it was like I got baptized as a little kid with like the family, my mom, dad, little brother. So it's kind of like I did it because I was supposed to, but not really understanding what it was, to be honest with you. And so being able to grow and have my own understanding and my own relationship with God and everything, and like I said, just going through my own different my own walk and relationship with Him. He was like, yeah, like it's nothing wrong with getting baptized a second time, especially when you're in a different space of doing so. And I was like, okay, cool. And like I said, we had this talking back in January, and I think it was, 'cause I think what this probably might have been September. Um, I remember like him 2 weeks, like sometime in September, like the beginning of September, he had texted me. He was like, yeah, I think it's time. And I was like, oh, really? And I was like, you sure about that? And everything. He was like, yeah, like we got baptism happening, in the 2 weeks. And he's like, I was thinking about you, and I think it's time for you to do it. And it was one of those things I was nervous about because it was just like one, I didn't want to talk because I was like, I hate public speaking, so I was like, I didn't want to like talk to nobody either. So I'm like, I got your little speech and all that stuff. But more than anything, it was more so like, do I feel like I'm ready, right? Like, am I ready for this journey? Because I just felt like it's almost like I feel like you had to be perfect to get baptized, right? Or in theory, right? You had to be perfect to get baptized. And when my pastor said like, no, like this is like the jump start into that relationship and like building that foundation with the Lord and everything like that. This is what help cleanses you so that way you give your life to the Lord. And I was like, okay, and when he kind of just like sat down and told me about what it is, and I just like learned, I was like, okay, yeah, I think it's definitely ready. That like it's definitely perfect time. And so did it, and it's been very rejuvenating. Like I said, I think, just going back to what you were just saying, like, is it, being in Denver, did that help out? I think definitely totally it did because, you know, just the space of what this space that I'm in, like being in Denver, it just felt like it was just the most natural thing to do, right? And like, you know, knowing that I wouldn't be here you know, without the Lord and everything like that. And it was like I have to do this. This is like I feel like you brought me here for a reason. So like let me go ahead and continue on with this journey and make this happen. So yeah.
Ah, look at you. You just glowing. I love that. Yes. Yeah. So would you say that, I don't know, cuz it seems like you found a home even though you mentioned you would move back to Austin. Am I crazy for
You
thinking that?
know, you're not crazy for thinking it, and I think I'm gonna say this. This is for some superficial reasons as to why we moved back to Austin. AKA, probably mainly just deals with the food and the heat. All right, because as great and as peaceful as Denver is, all right, every place got some cons, and the one con here is you gotta bring your own seasoning to places. Okay. Like, that'd be my only, especially like we've had food from like Detroit and Houston and Austin. So you got like this, your palate
Ah,
is, is up there. And then you get here and you're like, huh, okay.
let me pack my Lowry's.
Everything, yeah, like, right. Let me put a little Franks in a bag real quick, just in case I need to, spruce it up. No, don't get me wrong. Like, there's actually like some genuine, some really good places out here that I've like tried. More recent, that's actually really good. So over exaggerate on like some of the things in the like are bland or whatever. But I think the one place, and this might just, of course, will happen over time as Denver expands. The food choices here sometimes are just kind of like limited because like all of the good spots are always busy, and all of the spots that's like low key are low key for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I think it will say that, and then too sometimes, like I said, I like the cold. I mean, like I lived in the cold pretty much most of my life, but something about being in warm a good 365 days a year, you start to like it. You start to like it a little bit. Um, and then also too, the other thing too, compared to here and compared to Detroit, especially Detroit and Houston, and even to a degree a bit of Austin. Um, as great as the people are here, the one big thing that I would say there is a lack of here is us as a presence. Um, I think that's one big thing that's kind of like, I want to say it bothers me because like there are groups here, there are groups of Black people here that create spaces, create safe spaces for Black people to come and mix and mingle and have
Yeah.
fun and things of that nature. And there's definitely events that does that, you know. But that's the part that where it's like, dang, they only come out when like it's an event. We only come out when like it's an event versus where like, Detroit's you know, it's a black city. Houston, it's a black city. Austin, even though it's diverse, is a lot more black people because it's just a bigger population. So you have like those, black spaces in the nature. And here, the black spaces are far few in between that, if you're looking for, a lot of us here, that is going to be a little disappointing. Um, but on the flip side, though, like I said, when there is a black space or black event, everybody's out and comes to it. And the people that actually are here, though, like I said, very nice and and super chill. And so, like, I don't have a problem with like diversity per se, but it does sometimes be bothering. I'm like, man, like, I want to, you know, let me like go to like the nearest soul food restaurant or, where's like a place where I know it's gonna be a whole bunch of us at, things of that nature, right? And it's like, not going to get that a lot here. So, for better or worse, that's only like the couple of like cons to living in Denver. Um, but I would definitely say like in terms of like being here, I've definitely found my community. And like I said, all praise to him. I feel like the community like I found is like it's crazy because it's like it came from someone also from Detroit, someone I'm close with, helping me, path the way, no, lead the way to meet different people, making different connections in the nature. So, somehow, some way, no matter what, somehow Detroit always helps, helps people out. And No matter
Yeah,
where you at.
Detroit for the win. Detroit for the win. Ah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. I wish I think I probably met one person in Austin who's from South Carolina. They're from the Greenville area, and I just happened to walk in Juice Land and I saw a tall
Mm.
black guy working. I'm like, I've never seen this in Juice Land before. Um, I ain't never seen this is different. Like I'm coming back to this Juice Land. Never had a black man make me a smoothie before. Like that's very neat. And he talking.
Oh,
The
he was
man
like,
was from
oh.
yeah, yeah. I just know my smoothie gonna be full of flavor. It's full of it. Um,
Mhm.
from South Carolina though, like we really connected. Like him and his family, his wife and kids, like they just kind of relocated here for military reasons
Okay.
because there's like a base not too far away. But actually no,
Yeah.
VA VA. That's what he mentioned, the VA.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Yeah. It's funny. It's been a little minute since like well, it's been a long minute since I've been to South Carolina. Uh yeah, I definitely would
yeah.
let me go back to visit, you know. Because I mean, it's funny because I think it was it was at one point in time, I think somebody myself was talking about, you know, Clemson seemed like a pretty cool school to go to, and I got like accepted and everything like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to go here and go here. And then I seen that out of state tuition, and I was like, ah, never mind. Never mind. We gonna stick in Michigan for now. But
Man,
yeah,
look, you talking about out of state tuition. I'm still paying to this day for in-state tuition. So I can only imagine what the out of state look like.
man, it was. I was so hurt because like at the time like my ex that was there at the time was going to USC, and so I was like, I mean, USC cool and everything like that, but for what I was trying to get into, it was like, yeah, Clemson a better school, yeah, and everything like that. So I wound up like, so when I was planning on doing like this transfer, right? I got accepted to both, so USC and Clemson, and I would say more so in theory, if I was going to USC, it would have been just because of her. But like the heart was really like if I'm going to transfer, I really want to go to Clemson for real. Um, and so I was like, okay, cool, like and I got accepted and all this stuff, and he was doing like the financial aid. And when I seen like the price of the tuition, I was like, yeah, this. I don't know if I can make this journey, because we were trying to figure out some numbers and things of that nature, because like I wasn't really getting like any like scholarships to go down there or anything like that. So it's just like, all right, it's gonna be out of pocket. But even like when you take out like the loans and everything like that, it was still like way more than it should have been. I was like, dang, I never realized how much out of state tuition is until you experience what trying to like, being out of state tuition. I was like, yeah, I'm just saying finish school in Michigan. Not a problem. Not a problem. So, but yeah, I was this close to being down there in Clemson with you. So,
Yeah, it's okay though, cause it worked out for you. Like it worked out
right,
regardless, you know.
right, right. So can't even be mad about it. Can't be mad about it. You
Right.
know, but just know that you know, anytime it was like Clemson, before like my team was, Michigan was, in the playoffs. Um, when it was Clemson in the playoffs, it was like, all right, cool. I'm rooting for Clemson. So,
I know that's
still got love for Clemson.
yeah.
Still got love.
I was rooting for Michigan too. I like that guy that plays for the Lions who got hurt. His leg got he broke his leg, and it?
Oh,
Um
oh yeah,
Hutch.
oh yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, yep, Aiden
Yeah,
Hutchinson,
he bad. He a
yeah.
baddie.
Hey, listen, I'm ready for him to, recover and everything like that. They saying, you know, Lions make it to the Super Bowl is more of a win. When the Lions make it to the Super Bowl, um, he'll be ready for the Super Bowl. And in my head, I'm like, as much as I would love that, I say let's let him ramp up properly. Like give him a good off season. Like, you know, yeah, because I remember like when the because of course it was against the Cowboys, right? And like Detroit and Dallas Cowboys, we do not like the Cowboys, right? Um, and it was like, oh yeah, like we beating them by 40 points, and you see the injury, you like, why is there always something bad gotta happen when we go against the Cowboys? Like it's like no matter what, it's something that's going to go wrong with us against the Cowboys. It just sucks that it was like an injury this time versus like, they sold us the game, the refs missed a call or something like that. I was like, man, like even though we won this game, it was a big loss. Like we still felt hurt, So,
Yeah,
but love Hutch, love Hutch.
yeah. Okay, so we doing pretty good in life. Life is great. Just gotta bring
Hmm.
some Lowrys with you, and you be fine in Denver.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's probably a lot of people right now who are in the thinking about the election, just kind of how it threw a monkey wrench in
Hmm.
a lot of people's plans.
Hmm.
And some folks are looking at the Colorado is blue pretty much, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Colorado's blue. So people are talking about relocating, going to places where they feel like their morals don't have to be compromised.
Hmm.
People who maybe like look like us, and they may be in cities where there's a greater population of us, Colorado, Washington, like some of these states that are blue, they're just that seem like semi affordable. Because I'm definitely, if I wouldn't do California, that's no. I
No.
would do,
Right.
maybe Denver, like a place that's a little more affordable. But
Yeah.
um, what would you say to those people who are just kind of like stuck thinking, I'm gonna maybe look into Colorado, but I don't know
Hmm.
what it's like there. I don't know nobody out there. Like, what type of job are you?
Right.
What am I going? Where am I gonna go? Who am I gonna work for? Are they black people
Yeah.
there? How can I connect with them? Or even if people are like listening and
Hmm.
they're not black, but want to like maybe venture out there for reproductive
Yeah.
reasons, health reasons, what have you.
Hmm.
What words do you have for them?
Well, one, I would definitely say, of course, always do your research and everything like that, no matter where you're going to live. But I would definitely say for people that, like I said, they want to have like, their freedom, like freedom of choice, where, you know, women are seen and not, don't have to feel scared about like, hey, like, you know, if like I said, they need an abortion for, any reason, you know, there's no reason to like fear that you can't have it here. And I think like Colorado is a very progressive state. Um, it's funny because on the ballot this year for Colorado was actually two big things. I think like Florida also was kind of like have something to consider too. But two of the big things here was one, um, removing a ban, removing a ban on same-sex marriage. Uh, I think pretty much it was always allowed here, but I think it was like someone like something in the Constitution or something like that here, technically speaking. So I think it was to amend. It was an amendment to remove the ban of that of same-sex marriage here. So so it's free to do it, and then also put in the Constitution for Colorado, women's right to abortions if need be, regardless of what the reason is, everything like that. And then of course, I think like the government, everything like that can help, pay for it and everything like that too. Um, that was also on the ballot, and they both passed. So, like I said, just Colorado is definitely a state that's meant, for progressive, and just, for good morals and things of that nature. Um, don't get me wrong, like, there's definitely still parts in Colorado that's they're still red, so still got those spots anywhere. But I think just as a whole, like with it expanding the way it is, like I said, it's becoming more like us, it's becoming it's becoming a tech hub. More people are coming here. I can't tell you how many apartments I keep seeing get built every day. So it's definitely expanding. And if you can bear the cold and the snow, you know, um, as I said before, it's a very beautiful city. And I think the one thing I love about the people here, despite maybe, like I said, like the lack of maybe like black people here, is that no matter who you meet, it's going to be very nice and like always will treat you with respect. And I think everybody wants the best for each other. Like no one wants to, I think in my opinion, I don't feel like no one really wants to see other people like be brought down or anything like that, or feel like they're not welcome. Like I think everything here is like a welcome space. Like, no matter what parts of life you're coming from, anything of nature, like you're welcome here. And I think, like I said, just from the community that I've come to um be a part of here for like the last almost 2 years, you will feel very welcome as soon as you come in. Like, you might have to like go to a restaurant or two, maybe go to a game or something like that. But it's always going to be someone here that always going to have like your same like interests. Yeah, this is like it's just a it's as we've been having this conversation, right? Like, I remember you mentioned about like, oh, I'll move back to Austin or whatever. It's like being here, the more I realize it's like it's just a very like therapeutic space. Um, and like I feel like, if there's a place that you don't want to feel like fearful at, regardless, this is like one of those places that like you can come here and feel relaxed and just know that
Yeah.
you're safe here. Like you're safe to make those choices, safe to know that your voice is going to be heard, especially like I say, like for women. I think, with this election, women and especially black women, in particular, it's always like that saying that we've known that like, we gotta work twice as hard or triple times as hard just to, be seen, compared to like, our other peers, or, you know, you have to be overly qualified just to get the attention, compared to like, others. And so I was telling somebody today about the election, and like, yeah, it definitely threw a wrench because I think like, Kamala, had a lot of momentum. And you know, we was hopeful that like, this would be this was the year of change, right? You know, She was already the first, first woman to be VP, right? And then we could have the first, for her to be like the first one to be president. It's going to be, be amazing in that nature. But despite her not winning the election, I said like we got to give props to her because she was able to make this impact within 4 to 5 months, right? Compared to like, you know, uh, the Republican Party having, a year and a half to figure out their candidate and everything like that, eventually being Trump and everything. Like Kamala was able to do what she can do in 4 to 5 months and didn't get blown out by no means, right? Like, it was still close, So I think, even though we don't like the outcome of what happened, we can also just appreciate just the sheer and amount of work that she put in to make it a close race. And I think, had she had more time, things of that nature, probably could have won, Um, but it's like I said, it's some reason, it's something, as there's clouds, there's breaks of sunshine, peeking through. And I think that's one of those things that we can just look at like as something to be, bright about, in regards to this. So, um, come back to like, the whole Colorado thing. Like, yeah, like Colorado's a beautiful place. It's very welcoming. If you feel like you're in a space where like you are not seen and you're not heard and if you're fearful, Colorado's not gonna be that. It's gonna be a place where you can always feel like you're always at peace and um, feel safe at. So, but you like I
I
said,
feel like,
you gotta bear the snow. Gotta bear the snow though.
yeah, I hate snow. I hate snow and I hate cold weather. Like I don't even want to touch air outside if it's less than 70. And the 70 is pushing it. It really is. Um, I went outside earlier this week and I was
hmm
like, "Ooh, it's frigid." And I was like, "Alexa, what's the weather?" And Alexa was like, "It's 76." Like, what? Come again?
That's
Why am I
oh,
cold?
that's that's crazy. Because here, let it be like 50s, 60s. Oh, shorts are still on. Nobody got a jacket on. It's comfortable weather.
Man. But no, for real, like as far as feeling open, I mean, I'm not a resident of Denver. Never been a resident. But every single time I've been, those 6 times, I have been embraced by all walks of life there. I don't know why people are so friendly. It makes me feel like I'm in the South as far as like that Southern hospitality. Um,
hmm
I've had people give me free weed. Like, here you go. Like, I feel like as a woman, I felt safe just walking down the street, like up and down the street.
hmm
Like,
hmm Yeah.
and I didn't feel that living in Houston. Even though like I did it anyways, I just didn't feel
Yeah.
completely safe like as a woman walking down anybody's street.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
able to do that. Like most of my trips were solo. I feel like to Denver,
Okay.
they were solo. So I've had a great experience as a solo traveler, as a woman there,
hmm
and still had like that therapeutic feel whenever I ventured out. And people were just very nice. And we had like these long, thoughtful conversations. And it's just a great place to be. I feel like if anyone feels like really low and they're trying to figure out their next steps, yes, definitely do your research. Try and find like an online like news media company
hmm
that kind of tied into like the state or the city or the county you're thinking about moving to, and just like they'll tell
hmm
you everything about what that city is doing to like change the laws. whether they may be in your favor or not. I guess in this case, I'm kind of speaking to the red folks too, who live in blue dots, who are just like, hey, I don't want to be in the blue dots no more. Like, I want to be free too. Hey, this for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, true.
If you feeling the same way, go to Lubbock, Texas. I heard it's pretty red there. Like, and it's close to Dallas. It's close to Dallas. It's close to Fort Worth, I guess. I don't know where Lubbock is actually. I don't know. I just heard some things, and I was like, go to Vider. You might like it there. I mean, I clearly don't like black people there. You might be just you might love it. I might be wrong about Lubbock. I feel like it's another town that starts with an L in Texas that I just heard some weird things about. It might not be. I might be mistaken. But hey, anyways, like, there's plenty to go around in Texas apparently. Because if you don't live in the metro area, then yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
just
know,
definitely
I
please do your research. Good Lord, do it.
hmm that part. And like I say, I think with me, like my moving journeys have literally been like leaps of faith and be like, let's just try it. And like, like I said, I feel like for me, it turned out, very great in the long run, right? Um, and so I don't want to say like, my experience will be the same as others, right? Everybody, will have their own different journeys and different opinions about moving and stuff. Um, but I definitely will say, yeah, like I said, I think of all the, like I said, all the places I've been to, I'm not going to include Detroit because, Detroit's always home, but definitely out of Houston, Austin, and Denver, Denver is definitely the most peaceful place I've ever been. And like you said, like people are just like super friendly here, right? I make a joke, Austin. I feel like they're really friendly because all they want to do is just hike and get high. That's it. That's all they care about doing. They want to be one with the earth in many different ways. So, whether it's like, you know, smoking the herbal or looking at the herbal, everything they want to do is just all just like entwined with earth and stuff in nature. So I think that's why everybody's always just so very chill here. It's almost like when you get here, it's like, what are you upset about? Right? Like what has you so upset or so mad that like you can't just appreciate what life has, or in the space that you're in, right? And I think that's why, like we was talking about earlier, just like being in the mountains, being in the nature, going on those hikes, or like you said, you feeling just comfortable, walking through, the city of Denver and meeting people that's just like, hey, like, you want this and things of that nature? Because I think everybody's here is just you have locals here, but I also feel like a lot of people here too are also transplants as well. And I think everybody's just it's just on the same type of wave of just peace, honestly. Like, everybody just want to chill. Like, this is not gonna be a fast city like a Houston. It's not gonna be a big booming city like Austin. It's not gonna be very chocolate like Detroit. But it's going to be a very peaceful time, and like it's always going to be good vibes and good energy here. And I think that's one thing to truly take away from my experience from Denver.
Thank you for that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are listening or will be listening and might find some silver lining in this conversation. But also, I acknowledge that there are folks who may not have the privilege of being able to get up and go. And my heart goes out to anyone who's listening who may be like that. Yeah, these times are,
Yeah.
child, I don't know. It's ghetto out here.
Yeah,
it's,
it definitely
it's
is. Definitely
ghetto.
is.
Like, ghetto
Mhm.
is no longer limited to like slums or however people wanted to define it like 20, 30 years ago or whatever. Like, no, just right now, what is
Yeah.
happening in this country is ghetto because we literally could have had
Mhm.
um, affordable health care, people with pre-existing conditions being able to access that affordable health care and not be judged by whatever condition that they have. Um,
Hmm.
People really out here being left to bleed, and all for the sake of eggs being $1 instead of like $4. Like, come on now. People literally getting text messages talking about come to the slave house tomorrow. Like, bro, how you get my number? And I know it wasn't anybody who voted for that orange clown, because wasn't like the majority of them like uneducated? How you smart enough to whip out a phone? How how you smart enough to go through the system and hack people's phones and be able to text their whole name talking about, hey Tanika
Yeah,
Goodwin, come to the slave house tomorrow. Like, I know it just
yeah.
had to be
It's
somebody smarter than that. I
you
don't
know,
know.
I one thing I found this might be terrible, right? This is terrible, but I found I was like, wow, that's very interesting that this
Okay.
has happened, right? So I know, like, looking at the results of like people that was voting for, Kamala versus Trump. I know Trump was getting a lot of like the Hispanic votes, right? Which was very interesting because of like, you know, between him and JD, what they've been like saying about like these different races and what I recently had to say about Puerto Rico and everything like that. I'm like, wow, y'all are really over here like disrespecting like this group of people. Yeah, he got those votes, right? And what his like I think what his like day one thing he wants to do is like a mass deportation of people. And I'm just like, that is not funny, but it's like I'm trying to figure out how did y'all vote for him knowing that this was probably going to happen, right? Like it's sometimes like I never can understand like the logic behind like, why would you want to support somebody, right? And like to me, I don't think this was, of course, like, we have like political races, it's different parties, of course, Democrat and Republican, right? To me, it wasn't just as simple, okay, like Democrat versus Republican here, right? To me, this is an election about morally good versus morally bad. Which one do you want to pick from, right? And people always talk about like, oh, like yeah, like you know, when Trump was in office back in 2016, economy was booming, all this stuff, yada yada. And then when Biden came in 2020, things inflated and everything like that. And it's like y'all look at the people that was in it, but don't look at the positions that they were both put in, right? Like, you know, Trump is was coming into 2016 off of the 8 years Obama was able to put into place, so that way the next president would have an easier time, right? So you get to get to benefit from, that presidency essentially, the things that he was able to fix up. And then with Biden, it's like Biden's coming off a COVID in a pandemic, right? And not only this is the US inflated, the whole entire earth is inflated. So it's crazy to be like, yeah, like, oh, like Biden caused things to be more expensive. When it's like, no, like, Biden had to deal with what he was working with because of the state of society that's been like the last couple of years after a pandemic. And now when things are calming down, are you look at it, it's like, oh, I didn't like how this was feeling when he was in office, but I like how he felt when he was in office. But you do realize, like, the things that he's trying to do are not for everybody. It's not going to be for, I hate to say, like, for a certain group of people, right? Like I think like Dave Chappelle has said it best. He was like, Trump is for people that's like him, rich, right? That's who Trump is going towards for the rich. If you're like, uh, on the lower end of things of that nature and you voted for Trump, it's like Trump is not thinking about you, you know? That's y'all are the last people that he's thinking about. But it's gonna be an interesting 4 years. Listen, we've been through it 4 years before with them. We can do it again. We just gotta just, continue to love each other, protect each other. Just make sure that, we keep each other safe in things of that nature.
Yeah.
Um, you know, despite how, whichever way you voted, you know, blue, red, whatever the case may be, still realize, like, especially for us, black people, this country still don't like us like that for real. So you could have voted for Trump and still be on the wrong end of things, right? So they don't see like, red MAGA hats or nothing like that, when it comes down to it. They see the color of your skin. And, all you can do is hope and pray is that, hey, like, morally speaking, that, they got a good head on their shoulders and, they want the best for you, like they want the best for them.
Yeah. Regardless of whether people decided to vote for morally right or vote people and a president who is basically gonna take away or attempt to take away half of my rights, I will still fight for those ones who did vote that way, vote for the latter.
Mhm.
Because I mean, we all gonna go through the madness together anyways. And kind of like you mentioned, he is appealing, like he's really like focused on helping a certain demographic, like people like him basically, um,
Yeah.
which is gonna leave out the majority of his voters anyways. The ones who went so hard for him. And oh, may I add, because people are giving out all these reasons why Kamala lost and everything. Um, Back in my road tripping days, me just driving like all over the state of Texas. And I don't even know why I
Yeah.
thought that was a good idea because it's sundown like heck here. People, that man lost in 2020, and less than 24 hours later, I saw signs and flags that said Trump 2024. That man knew what he was doing. He did not
Hmm.
wait. Did he lose in 2020 or 2019 when no, yeah, 2020. Did he lose? Yeah. Did he let that stop him from immediately campaigning for the next election? No. No. I saw Trump 24 flags almost immediately. People just riding with
Hmm.
it on the back of their Ford pickup trucks with the
Yeah.
massive wheels on it, wasted no time.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, he really just came, he was prepared. Like he had 4 years to prepare and he made the most out of that because he knew he was gonna run again.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
The benefit for all of us though, he can't run again after this. So,
woo,
just
baby.
gotta so that's let's 4 years, cool. Let's go ahead and knock these out and and just pray that
Yeah.
just continue to pray on it. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I got a few more things to say and then I'm gonna let you go because I love the Hispanics. But kind of throw that out there. Like I love the Hispanics. Like I had a rough patch in Houston, and it
Yeah.
was a Hispanic who really helped me like get back on my feet. So I can't sit here and say, middle fingers to the Hispanics for voting against their own interests. But I do understand that there are people who came here from countries that were ran opposite from how we run our country here in the US, and their governments failed them, and so they see like what's
Hmm.
happening here, and they're just like, oh, like, it's more of an individualistic standpoint. If I just come here and work and do whatever, like I'm just here to make
Yeah.
money, and this man talking about he gonna make taxes easier for me because they pay taxes and don't really get much out of what comes with paying taxes. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, sign me up, MAGA.
Hmm.
You folks really said MAGA. But yeah, yeah, I hate to see you go, and I really don't want to see you go because believe it, like people being deported is not healthy for this country. Whether people
Hmm.
believe that it's healthy or not, they play a great role in agriculture,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of other like fields. I mean, yeah, like let people. I don't know. That's just my two
Yeah.
cents. Like I want people to be great, but I want people to also do their research and actually read and study and understand what's
Hmm.
really like to come. It's not good, and it's just not good. Like, you want your child to come here and have a good education and be able to access federal aid. Well, I mean, Department of Education does that, but what's going to happen when that's gone? We'll see, I guess, because I mean that's what you voted for. Golly, let's go.
Right.
2025, MAGA.
Right.
We
Yes.
ride. We ride on Martin Luther King Day because that's when the inauguration is. How dare
Oh,
you? How dare you? Like that's
oh,
crazy.
jeez.
We'll see. All right.
Oh
It's
man.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. It's almost we almost at 2 hours. I've never recorded this long. I'm gonna ask you one more question. We gonna get you out of here, right? Um, unless
I feel terrible up there because maybe I'm gonna just keep blabbering. My bad.
no, 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 no. This is a good conversation. Sometimes like I just let it ride, and I feel like people need
Hmm.
like to just kind of like decompress, and this is a good time to like talk about this stuff that may like ease people's minds,
Yeah.
or I don't know, maybe piss some people off. I guess I don't know. I've people been coming at me on my social media all day talking about you Marxists. Okay, sir. I just want to
I.
retire by the time I'm 40. You making it hard for me with these $1,000 student loans that I'm getting ready to pay. When this man coming to office, like
Right.
I was paying almost 100, and now you're making it hard. Like, and you calling me names. Like my name is Kerristen, not Marcis, but thank you very much. Yeah, I'll let you um go after I ask this last question because we've had a
Okay.
lot of time to talk and reflect about where you've been, where you're going, um, where you are right now in this present moment. So I want you to kind of think in retrospect one more time. Think about the version of yourself that was in Michigan the first time, like before you even made that leap to Texas and went on this whole journey. Um, Now that you are where you are now, just baptized. I don't know why I did this. Baptized. I don't know how they dip you in the water. Like, Oh, a lot of people aren't going to see this. I tap my forehead with my palm because like how they be in church and they be like, touch the forehead. You're supposed to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you are in a better space, um, what
Hmm.
words of advice would you give 2000, was it 19, 18, 19,
Hmm.
whenever you decide to move? Like what advice would you give to that version of yourself?
Great question. I think I would tell my young 2019 version of myself is appreciate the journey. You know, it's not gonna be easy. You're gonna have some amazing highs and some treacherous lows, but it's going to work out in the end. You know, just you know, keep believing. Keep your faith. And I know like it's gonna be a point in time that you're just gonna feel like you just want to give up. Um, or you feel like you're not going anywhere or anything like that. But you know how motivated that you are, and so continue to use that motivation to get you to where you want to be, and it's going to pay off in the end. Um, I wouldn't change anything the last 5 years has brought, because I feel like every moment and everything that's happened has always been it's been a lesson that I feel like I've learned from. And so to have anything change of that may not put me where I'm at here today, you know. And so yeah, like I said, just to my 2018 self, just appreciate the journey, you know. Continue to walk, run, stumble, crawl, and if you feel like there's a point in time where you might take a break and just sit there, that's cool too. Make sure you just get up off your feet, off your butt, and continue to push forward. And it's gonna pay off in the end.
Period, Pooh.
Oh man,
All
whew.
right.
That was
Well,
actually very therapeutic for myself. I need that one for me.
yeah, I try to create that space as much as possible because moving is hard, and
Hmm.
people, they don't think about that. They just kind of be like, oh, they shaking ass and titties on the table in Houston. I want to move here, and then they get there and they're just like, I don't know. They may love it, but then they may just be like, "Bruh, I had no idea this was like this," and just not like it. And now you kind of like, you gotta at least like give it an effort because you moved your whole life there. You started the job, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think if you have that opportunity to leave, or you had that in your heart to, hey, maybe like just do it, right? Or like, I want to like move somewhere, this, that, and the third. But I feel like you're always waiting for the right time, right? I feel like there's never really a right time per se, but you will know in your heart when it's like, okay, I'm ready to do it, right? Um, and it may not necessarily be ideal. Like I know some people that like move and don't, they move with nothing and make it happen, right?
yeah,
It's just a matter of like in your heart when you know that it's okay. I'm ready to do this regardless of what happens. I'm gonna do it, and like I said, it's that leap of faith. You don't know until it happens what's going to happen, but with a good foundation and the things that you've learned from your upbringing, um, and just yeah, just like everything that you learn from like your upbringing, um, will be better, but will prepare you for taking on the world when you decide to leave home and see what the world has to
come on, Pastor Amir.
offer.
Yes, yes. I need you to host this whenever I'm on vacation. Come on with it now. Say
Y'all not
what?
hearing me though.
I
Y'all
never
not
thought
hearing
to
me
even
though.
tell y'all nothing like that.
You know.
I learned something today. Ooh,
You flatter me too much. It was
oh my
nothing,
gosh. I just
nothing.
need to just I feel like I need to be touched by that water that that you that pastor dipped you in. Cause baby, you spitting. You
Hey,
are
listen,
talking.
that's when the that's the part of the church when like pastor say something good, all you hear is all you hear is the piano start to play. People start to dance, and he just sitting there. You're like, oh man, we about to be here for another like 30 minutes.
Right. Oh my gosh. I used to hate going to church. And I mean, I love God. I do. But like a Southern church will have you there for 8 hours and it should low key be borderline like employment. What do you call it? Like you know how when you go to a job and like it's federal law that you need like a break and then they don't give you a break. That's how I feel about Southern churches sometimes because we've been here for 5 hours and we have not ate yet. You are not feeding us. And you sit here thinking, and you sit here talking about, I'm going to feed y'all with the word. Nah, I want Subway. I'm hungry. Feed me. Can we get a break, an intermission? Like, God was breaking bread. Like, why can't we break bread too?
Right. I know. And then you got sister in the back talking about take your time, Pastor. No.
Right. No, no, don't actually take your
don't
time.
don't take your time.
I'm
I
thirsty.
got
You
things
told,
to I got things to do this Sunday. Okay.
right. Uh, The little small cup of Welch's grape juice and the little cracker ain't gonna do it. Like I'm hungry.
talking, talking about this communion gonna get you right.
I just saw the sun come up and the sun go down, and it's not even daylight savings time, and you still preaching. Help me, I'm hungry, and I'm a child. I can't just walk out, get in my car, go down the street, come back. I have
Right,
to sit there the whole time. I'm hungry.
right. And God forbid you be one of those people. You don't want to leave church either, because then people gonna be looking at you. So you're like, yeah, I got to stay here. Just be like, I should bring a snack next time.
Right. Like got the olive oil and not even gonna cook anything with it. You just gonna lay it on my forehead. I'm hungry. Dang, help me. I need food. I need food. Just say amen so we can go home, bro. This
Right.
could have been an email at this point. Like God
A
knows my
text message, if
heart.
you will.
Right. A text message, if you will. Like God knows my heart and he knows my stomach and he know I'm hungry. I had that pent up
Right.
forever. Like help, help. I love
Like, Pastor,
church
I know
now
you.
though.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like it's definitely different now being an adult. Like, all right, cool. Like I received the word a little different than when I was a kid, because as a kid I'm just like, I'm not low key paying attention. I mean, I'm paying attention a little bit, but like you said, it's taking forever. I want to go home. I'm low key sleep. I'm low key sleepy. That's what I'm really sleepy, because my mama just woke me up to come to church, and I can't take a nap in church. So it's just like I just want to go home. So again, I just want to leave church. So I can go in the car so I can take a nap. And I'm still hungry. Yeah, let my mama say we can't get no McDonald's after church. I'm fighting.
Yo, I see why my mom, um, she cooks meals like days in advance. So
Yeah.
she don't have to worry about doing it on Sunday, or like um if it's Christmas, like she doesn't wait until Christmas to cook. She does it like 2 days in advance or so. The meal's already ready. All
Okay.
you gotta do is warm it up. She did that for church. She already knew what time it was. Like, y'all gonna have us here for how long? But like, you're not about to you're not about to have Joanne's stomach growling, having
Mm-mm.
her like go through all that and then be like, oh, I gotta cook after that. No, and
Right.
there is no McDonald's in the city where I grew up in. Not a single
Ugh.
Burger King or nothing like that. No,
That's low key
no
good. That's
fast
low
food.
key good. That's low key good because that means all y'all really could depend on is a good home cooked meal. That's perfect. You know, that was perfect. Listen, that means you got to come to church with the Bible and a lunchbox.
Right, a lunchbox. And I wonder why we never got lunch boxes. That's crazy to me. Oh, we gonna be listening to this man or woman talk for like 8 hours, and then I can't chew no gum. Like the least I can do is chew some gum. You can't. I can't even chew gum. Like it's just doing too much.
I'm
Like
not, but like I'm not even chewing it loud. You won't even know it's in my mouth.
the Holy Spirit can't reach you if you're chewing gum. Like that's what they
Right.
like. Okay, you can't speak in tongue if you're chewing gum. Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. Um. Okay. I guess. But sister over here giving me a peppermint out her pocket is okay. All right, that's cool. That's great. That's fine. All right. She got one. She got one of them quick peppermints too. Ain't got no wrapper on it. It just come out lit. Talking
I was
about you
just
won't
thinking
even.
that,
Quick as
but I'm gonna eat that lint though, cause I'm hungry.
Listen, I'm gonna eat it. I ain't gonna like it, but I'm hungry. So go ahead, give me that peppermint, elder lady. Come on. You said you got two. Go ahead, run them two. Run them two.
Oh, yeah, give me all the lint you got, cause I'm hungry. Your mama ain't feed you? Yeah, she did, but that was 5 hours ago. Like,
Yeah, yesterday.
yeah, yesterday. That's a good one, cause oh my gosh. Yeah, you're
Then she
right.
get mad at your mama for the fact that she didn't feed you, but you like now your mama mad at you. You just like I'm just hungry. I just want some food. I'll get it by any means.
Why we like this? That's
Could,
funny.
could
That's
you imagine
funny.
somebody door dashing some food to church during service?
You know, I wish that was a thing. When I was young, I would have did it in a heartbeat.
Ooh wee! Listen, that person come. The dasher come through the door. Next thing you know, the pastor talking to them, talking about, and see, that's how God gonna come in through the door, just deliver it, just like
Oh, yo,
all right.
what am I talking about? What am I gonna get DoorDash at that age and where we were? Like, I don't think I saw McDonald's until. Well, actually, no. There was a McDonald's. Like the nearest one was maybe 25, 30 minutes away. Like rural. I don't know if you've seen South Carolina like that. Rural. Rural. Like a town of 500. That's where I grew up. Like I didn't see Walmart until maybe I was 10, 9 or 10 or something like that. Like I didn't even get to see Target until I was about done with high school. So it wasn't no DoorDash and no food to church for me because The DoorDasher probably would have been like, I don't have service out here. I ain't got no
trying
service. Trying to
trying
get
to
to you.
accept the meal.
And then how I'm gonna order? Because there was no service. Like I don't even. There was no service, dog. Like I'm really sitting here thinking about modern technology and how I wish I had those resources, but now
Mm.
it wouldn't have worked anyways because there's no service. Not like that.
Maybe I feel. I was gonna say maybe Wi-Fi, but then maybe like your church would be like, "Nah, we don't need Wi-Fi. We got the book. We got the
Yeah,
book. Pick
that's
it
how it
up."
was. We had paperback. That was it. No PowerPoint
Mm.
presentation like these like more modern churches are. Um, yeah, we got
Hmm.
the book of the Lord,
Right, right.
and that's it.
Pa- Pastor said we about to go to, John, uh, you know, John 2, verse 41, and you over here trying to go through it. He just already feel like, all right, well, whatever, I'm gonna quit. Nah, church be like, yeah, it's on the PowerPoints up there. Cool. I would just read it up there. Mm-hmm.
Right, it's like a marathon. Wait, no, not a marathon. It's like a sprint trying to get to to Matthew. Like you ain't got time to look at the table of contents. You just gotta flip, 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 flip. Like
Right.
you ain't give you no break. Like you better know where it is. Like or else you gonna miss this bird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
man, good times, I guess.
You know, it's made us into better people of today. You know,
Yeah,
because hopefully, that church, your former church, or your whole church back at home where we grew up, they got Wi-Fi now. Hopefully.
mm-mm.
Oh.
Nah, bro, I can't even watch it online. I can't, look, you talking about Wi-Fi? Like I had to call my mama be calling me asking me how can she bookmark a website and the pastor is the same age as her and you want her to, you want the pastor Wi-Fi? They ain't even service to this day. It's the same. Like it is the absolute same. Every time I go to the country, like I'm fully prepared to be like turn off my phone. Like I don't gotta worry about my battery dying because I don't use the phone. Can't use it.
You got games on your phone? No, because you can't use them.
Right. I want to play. What's that game that kids be watching? I mean, be Roblox. I think that's the name
Mm.
of it. Like the open
Yeah.
ended. Yeah.
Yeah, Roblox.
Eh, Ain't no Roblox in the country. Not gonna work. Just not gonna work. Like you, baby talking about, "Oh, I play Roblox." Nah, you just gonna have to cry because technology don't work like that out there.
Talk about like, can I watch something on YouTube? Mm.
Nope.
Tuh.
Nope.
You can watch it. You can watch what's on what's on the road over
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me let these people go. Let me let these people. Let me let these people
here.
go. We are not gonna treat y'all like our church has been treating us. We will not have you hungry and waiting for the end of the service. Go let y'all go so y'all can eat. Get all the food you need. Get whatever you need to decompress. It's been a long week, and there's gonna be a lot more long weeks ahead.
I was not.
So,
I ain't gonna lie. I was expecting a praise break just to magically start popping out right now.
man, I thought about it, but it's time to eat. I'm hungry. It's time to go.
Yeah, it's time to
We'll
go.
see. Yeah, unless you want to let the congregation out yourself with a praise break, but I'm good. I'm Jesus, hallelujah, hungry, amen. Not you clapping like what's the name of that movie? The Clumps. Hercules,
Oh,
Hercules,
oh,
Hercules.
the Nutty Professor. Yeah.
Nutty Professor, yeah. Hallelujah. Hercules. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, people. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Relocate Podcast. I guess y'all learned a little bit more about the South now, and yeah, it's good times. Church, good time. Promise you. You every church ain't like that. You're not gonna be in there for 6 hours. I mean, maybe my church now is a little different, but I don't know. But anyways, clearly I don't know because can't even catch it on. I can't even stream it, so I don't know how it goes now. But thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Relocate Podcast. Y'all meet me every Wednesday. It's gonna be lit, gonna be a good time, and gonna be more guests. So y'all have a good day.